Okay guys, my name is Judas Phi Gates of Maestros Missionarios, and here we are. Today we are going to see why leaders always win. You must know this. Okay, I will share with you 22 principles, secrets, laws that you must comprehend. We are going to go deep, okay? So pay attention, take note, learn, and apply. First of all, leaders give value freely. Leaders give value freely. Everybody wants to sell. I want to sell. I want to sell. How do I sell? Sell, 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 sell. You can learn techniques to close the sale. You have to understand how to sell. But branding is so much powerful, and most people are not willing to pay the price to build their own brand. You have to build your brand if you really want to sell more. Okay, so yes, you can learn techniques, you can learn all the closing techniques that you want, but if you truly want to sell more, you have to build your brand. Why? Because if you have a brand, every single video you produce is your salesman. Every video you produce is like a salesman that works 24/7. You go to sleep and the video never dies. It lives on forever. So you have to understand that the more videos you produce, it's like having another salesman. And not only that, because if you spend money on ads, you can scale it as far as you want. So one-on-one selling does have its place. You have to learn how to do that. You have to build teams. Selling is important, but branding makes the selling process much easier, okay? For example, you have a prospect that is postponing the decision and doesn't know if he's going to buy or not. You can send them a video and then follow up with another video. So you have to understand that whatever you are doing, videos with your brand will always help, okay? So in this way, you are providing value and you're building trust and making the sale faster, okay? So building your brand is absolutely crucial, and that is why leaders always win. Now, let's go deep. Okay, number one. Leaders give value freely. Leaders give value free. Okay? Leaders give value freely because they are good people. Maybe, maybe not, but it works. If you have more videos with your own brand, you're going to sell a lot more. Now, of course, everything has its pros and cons, okay? For example, if you're going to make videos, you have to build your ability to communicate, to have confidence in yourself, communication skills, Of course, you have to build that competence, but if you truly want to win, you have to become a leader, and leaders produce content, and that's the way it is. Okay, number two. Number two, serve before you sell. When you are selling, you always have to deliver value. So, value delivery is a constant in all the process, in all the funnels, in all the email sequences, in all your videos, in every interaction, all the time. Value is a must. So, serve before you sell. And basically, you have to serve all the way, before, during, and after the sale. Okay? Number three. 99% pitch. And then 1% provide. Now, what is the challenge here? Okay? Because now we all have access to information, and it is very easy to have access to information. So, what is value nowadays? Well, you have to be very specific in whatever you are doing. So, because of the fact that we all have access to information, providing value becomes a challenge, because a person might say, well, I can ask AI to do that for me. And technically, yes, you can ask any artificial intelligence for information and you're going to get it. But what is the difference? The difference is in the details, okay? So, if you are a real expert, you have to go hard and deep in the details. The deeper you go into the details, and the faster you provide insights and stats and key data, the person says, hey, I did have access to artificial intelligence, I did have access to a lot of information, but because of this person, because of this expert, I got it faster, you know? So that is the key difference about the leaders of today, the true leaders. A true leader will provide you very powerful insights and shortcuts, up to the point that you say, hey, if it wasn't for this person, I wouldn't learn that. Now, you have to be very honest with yourself as a buyer, because a lot of people take everything for granted and they say, yes, I already knew that, or that isn't so much, that's not much of a deal, that's not a big deal, I already knew that. It is like people are always not appreciating the real value that a real leader provides. And this is why a lot of people just pitch and they don't provide, because they don't feel respected when they provide so much value. But the thing that you have to understand is, you either provide or you don't. You either become a reliable authority, a legitimate authority in your area, or you don't. And the only way that you're going to make it is by being the one that provides free value. Yes, a lot of people are going to copy what you're saying, a lot of people won't respect you, but that is part of the game. So you have to be okay with people copying whatever you're doing, not respecting you, thinking that you are dumb because you're providing so much information for free, etc., etc., etc. But this is the name of the game. If you provide value, eventually people are going to say, no, this guy is legit, eventually, okay? And that is the price you have to pay as a leader, as someone that really wins. Leaders always win. Leaders give value freely. Number 2, serve before you sell. Number 3, 99% pitch, 1% provide. Okay, let's continue here. Number 4. Build in public. Profit in private. When people are starting to build their brand, one of the main things that stop many people from actually building their own brand is that they want a quick profit. And building a brand takes time. So most people are not willing to basically have the patience to build their own brand. So if you start to pound videos, and you pound and you pound and you pound, and you produce videos, you produce, and nothing happens, that is normal. Not only that, that is expected. So if you produce, and nothing happens, that is normal. You have to really understand how this works. Let's imagine that you are underwater, right? And you are here. And your goal is to go to that island, and you are underwater, okay? So you produce, let's say, one video, one content. You produce one content. You produce another content, another content, another content. And people say, hey, I have made 5 contents or 5 episodes. I have made 5 podcasts and nothing happens. Well, guess what? You have to do an enormous amount of podcasts and nobody's going to care, okay? Most people will never care, never. But what happens? Imagine that you keep going. You create more content. You keep going, and when you have built a significant amount, other people that are also building content that also nobody cares, below water, this basically means nobody knows you, okay? And here you have fame and success according to society, okay? If you don't go over this line, nobody cares, and people think that you are a loser. Nobody cares. But guess what? If you keep piling content, other people that are also building content, because they are also building, these people are going to say, hey, you know what? You have built all that. And because this one also built that, there's going to be a mutual respect. Okay? Builders respect builders. Okay? Builders respect builders. So a builder says, hey, you have done that. Let's do something together. So you begin to help the other person with ideas, content, whatever. And the other one also helps you and throws you a couple of things. So what happens? You begin to produce 2x faster because you're working together with other people. This is extremely important, and I have been providing value for many years. And most people, I always say, hey man, we can do this. I can help you with this. And most people don't get it. And that is why most people are poor. Most people are building their own thing, and when someone comes and tells them, hey, let's do something together, let's do something together, instead of taking advantage of that opportunity, they remain closed because they are ignorant and they still have a very long path to go, okay? So, if someone comes and tells you, hey, let's do something together, you have to say, yes, let's do something together. Of course, if the deal is not good, you just back away. But oftentimes, you can do things with a lot of people, especially if they take the initiative. Okay? So, what happens? You are still underwater. Both of you, nobody cares. Both of you, you're not famous. You're building the brand. You're doing what needs to be done. And what happens? Then another guy that has a bigger amount of content says, hey guys, I can help you a little bit. I can help you both. And then they all start working together. So this one helps this one, and this one helps this one, and this one helps this one, and everybody's helping. And before you know it, everybody is growing 3x, and everybody is growing. Okay? If this keeps going and going, eventually one, we don't know which one because luck is part of the process, one of these individuals is going to make it. And it's going to say, hey, I'm famous, I'm successful. And when one becomes successful, it becomes extremely successful. I mean, when someone crosses this line, it becomes a superstar. And everybody thinks, imagine that the name is Johnny, okay? Johnny. When Johnny crosses that barrier and becomes successful and famous, everybody's going to say, my God, Johnny is the best in the universe. Johnny is number one, and everybody's going to say, Johnny, yeah, Johnny is the best, Johnny is the best. And in reality, if it wasn't for Anthony and Mark, there was no way that Johnny could have gotten there. And this is what happens socially. People over-respect the one that is famous, but they don't have a clue about Mark and Anthony, you know, the ones that are behind the scenes that actually made Johnny reach that point of fame. But this is what happens. So if you're building your brand and nobody cares, well, it is part of the game. But also understand this: if Johnny makes it, Many things can happen here. Johnny can begin to say, well, I'm the best of the universe, and Johnny might be a dick with Anthony and Mark because he thinks he's the best. Sometimes Johnny is grateful for the collaboration of Anthony and Mark and say, no, if it wasn't for Mark, if it wasn't for Anthony. So things can happen in any direction. Either Johnny is grateful or not. So we never know. But one thing is for sure, if Johnny made it and Anthony and Mark were behind that success, Mark and Anthony are going to feel better and more confident about themselves because they were very close to Johnny. So they have a good grasp of what actually works. So either way, everybody is winning here. Maybe one individual wins before, but everybody that is building wins. Now, the core things that I'm trying to teach here is that if you're building content alone, eventually you should do collaborations with somebody else. That's first. And also, if you're building, it will take a very long time until you cross this success, fame, social barrier. And when you cross that line, you can also go deep again. You can have some fame and success for a little time and then you go back again into obscurity. So nothing is granted, okay? But you have to make collaborations and you have to understand that you have to be in the dark for a very long time, okay? Number 5. Brand is your real currency. Yes, a lot of people say send messages, send messages. Yes, you can and you must. You must have sales systems. You must. That is non-negotiable. But building your brand is also non-negotiable as well. You have to do both. You have to do branding and selling. Outbound and inbound. You have to do both, okay? Now, this is important. 6. Working for Mr. Ego. Every person, every time you're talking to a person, that person has desires, dreams. Everybody has their own desires, their dreams. Everybody wants to have something in this life. Everybody's looking for something. Everybody wants something. We all want something, okay? So when you are selling, you have to satisfy these needs and wants. And the one that is able to provide the greatest value to that ego is the one that finally makes the sale. So here it is very important to satisfy Mr. Ego. Just look at that person and say, what does this person really, truly want? And pay attention. What does this person truly want? And then you trade. You say, okay, I can give you this, you can give me that. And then you negotiate. And that's how it is. The big problem that we have nowadays is that people don't communicate. Everybody is like inside their own bubble and they don't communicate, they don't build relationships because they don't understand that the network, building a powerful network is the way to go. Everybody is looking for the cash, the money, and they don't build a network. And that is wrong. The power is in the brand so that you build a network. You must understand this. So you first need a brand, then a network, and then you have success. So that is how it goes. You have brand, network, and then you have success. This is how it goes. But it all begins with a brand. Everybody's looking for money, but not necessarily their own brand. Everybody's looking for money, but not necessarily building the network. And most people do not understand this. So if you want to win, you have to understand this. Brand, network, success. People have something in the brain that doesn't get the power of network. And you know why this happens, because people aren't capable of seeing the real value of a person. If most people were able to see the real value of other people, they would network. But the problem is that people don't see value in other people. It is a terrible thing, and the very few that comprehend win. The ones that work together win. The ones that have a powerful network win. The ones that don't get it lose. But first, before building a network, you must have your own brand. So it goes. Brand, network, success. That is the way to go. If you're just thinking of making money and nothing else, and if you don't have a brand and you don't have a network, forget about success. Okay? Let's continue. Number 7. Sell transformation, not product. What you're really selling is transformation, and your own brand must reflect that transformation. Number 8. Understand desire architecture. Understand desire architecture. Well, this one is complex, okay? To really understand what drives people, what motivates people, it is hard because it's not what it seems. So you might think, okay, yes, people want this, and in reality, they don't want that. You only learn this by experience, okay? For example, you might have an automation service with artificial intelligence, and you are thinking, well, if this person wants to have this benefit, it is because they want this benefit. And maybe that's not what makes the people motivated. Maybe it is they just want more free time, or they want something else. So usually when we sell products and services, we are motivated to to talk about the things that actually have real, tangible value. Because, okay, if you do this, you're going to have this. But those features and things aren't the real driving factor of the purchase. So this is very deep, and only with experience you're going to understand what I'm talking about. Number 9. Pressure forges diamonds. Seek the friction others avoid. Pressure forges diamonds. Seek the friction others avoid. There's another way that I like to say this, that is, become a rare diamond. Become a rare diamond. Pressure forges diamonds. Seek the friction others avoid. You have to be strong as a diamond. You have to do the hard stuff, which basically is creating content like a beast. Creating content is the hardest. Build a brand, build a network, and you're going to have success. Build the brand. Build the brand. Create content like a beast. Next, number 10. Rest or execute. Number 10. Rest or execute. No third option. You have to take lots and lots and lots of action all the time. You are either taking action or not. You are either sleeping or doing. Sleeping or producing. As soon as you wake up, lift weights. All the time. Okay? You wake up, you lift weights. You produce. You produce. You produce. You create content like a beast. Okay? There is no third option. Rest or execute. Rest or execute. Okay? All the time. Okay, let's continue. Deep focus is your competitive advantage. Deep focus is your competitive advantage. Deep focus is your competitive advantage. Okay? You have to go hard in the creation of your brand. Okay? Number 12, momentum compounds. Momentum compounds. You have to be in a constant flow state. You have to feel that you're getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger, and things become easier and easier and that's the magic. That's the magic of momentum. Momentum is either on or off. You're building momentum or not. And this is related with the flow state. Okay, so flow state, and momentum go hand in hand. They are related. Momentum is magical. Momentum is magical because it makes your life easier. Momentum is magical because it makes your life easier. That is the power of momentum. Now, I will explain it. Momentum is when you're concentrating a lot of effort in a direction and you say, okay, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to create. You channel all your energy on that, and in the beginning it is going to be very hard because you're starting from scratch. But once you have some energy going, it begins to work in a sense, in an automatic way, in a way. So once the engines are turning and everything is going correctly, you don't have to push that hard. Of course, you will have to push hard to keep it going, but not as hard as in the beginning. The hardest of the hardest is the beginning. This is why most people never begin, because turning the engines is the hardest part. But once you turn the engines, you begin to win. How do you turn the engine? The engine is not finding the capital, finding the cash. No, the real engine is yourself, which is your motivation, and will. Motivation and will. This is what I call MOTWILL. Mot will. Mot will is motivation and will. Motivation is I want. And will is I pay. Okay? So MOTWILL, mot will. Motivation and will. Motivation is I want. And will is I pay. So you can see it as the motivation equals desire, is the buildup of desire, and the will is the conscious effort. So motivation is desire. I want, I want, I want. And the will is I pay, I pay, I pay. It's the effort, okay? So that's how you turn the engine on, your will, your motivation and will. So you elevate your desire, you elevate your effort. That by itself will allow you to operate in an empowered state. Once you build that energy, you build momentum and things begin to work for you in a way that it doesn't require that much energy to keep going. So the idea is to build your energy and to build the momentum so that it works for you and it becomes easier. Momentum is magical because it makes your life easier. Okay, so you have to build that momentum so that you become more powerful and you are getting a better return on your effort. Okay, so it is like every time you're getting more of your daily grind. Okay, so that is the power of momentum. So number 12, momentum compounds, and that is the idea. The momentum has to compound. The momentum has to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Number 13, live in flow state. Number 13, live in flow state. Done beats perfect. Live in flow state. Done beats perfect. For example, imagine that you are producing content and you create some videos and they are okay, but they aren't perfect. Well, you go back to those videos and say, okay, I'm going to make these videos again. So you take note, you see, okay, what were the main things that I said in this video? I'm going to make this video again. What were my communication mistakes? What did I did wrong? What can I do better? And then you create that video again and you delete the previous version, okay? So you start again. The main idea is to live in flow state. Done beats perfect. So forget about perfection. Of course, if you can achieve something of very high value, that's awesome. But usually it doesn't happen. Usually we get there by trial and error, okay? Okay. Number 14. Number 14. Engineer daily progress. For example, if you lift weights every day, you have to make more reps and or lift heavier weights. And apply that principle to everything. If you send DMs, if you send emails, if you do outreach, if you make content, whatever it is, every day you have to do more than the previous day. Okay? Engineer daily progress. So every day of your life, you're getting better by design. You design it that way, okay? 15. Winning is action. Action is winning. If you're always taking action, and the 3 perfect actions are learning, doing, and thinking. Learning, doing, thinking. These are the 3 perfect actions. So if you're doing that, you are in the zone. You're perfectly focused. If you're learning, if you're doing, and if you're thinking. Learn, do, think. Learn, do, think. And this builds wisdom, skills, and beliefs. Okay? Learning, doing, thinking. Learning, doing, thinking. Learning, doing, thinking. That's when you are in the zone. Okay? 16. 16. Systems beat goals. Systems beat goals. You can have goals. Goals are all right, but systems are very, very powerful. Like I always share the EC pyramid. Let's draw it again. EC pyramid, EA.S.I. You have energy, you have action, you have systems, and identity. This is the EC pyramid. EA.S.I. Energy, action, systems, identity. You become your energy. You become your action. You become your systems. And that is what makes your identity, your self-image. You are your energy. You are your daily action. You are your systems. Systems are basically a more controlled and organized way to take action. So this is why systems are very, very, very important. So think mostly in systems more than goals. Okay? Systems. Systems are ongoing. A goal eventually is like a goalpost. But you have to think in systems because systems can always be improved. Always. Okay? Number 17. 17. Inputs over outputs. The majority of the people are thinking in the output. Okay, so they are thinking about, okay, how much money I'm going to win. They're thinking in terms of money and nothing else. But if you truly want to win, of course, you're thinking about the outputs, but if you want to win, you have to think in a very different way. You have to think about the inputs. So basically this is how much are you doing really? How much effort? So think about the inputs because the inputs is what really gets the job done. It is what makes things happen. So think about the inputs, not the outputs. The outputs are the product of the inputs. This sounds extremely basic, but the majority of the people are only thinking about the outputs. And they should be thinking about the inputs, which basically means doing more. Of course, the majority of the people don't want to do more, but that's what actually works, okay? Inputs over outputs, okay. 18. This one is similar. Attitude over performance. So, monitor your attitude. Are you emotionally invested? Are you serious? Are you giving your best? Are you giving your very, 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 very best or not? So yes, attitude is super important. Very few people have the correct attitude. Okay? You have to operate on an A+ attitude 24/7. Okie dokie. 19. Build assets that pay while you sleep. Again, this is building content basically. Every content is like a salesman that never sleeps. So build videos, build your brand. The more videos you produce, the better you're going to be, okay? Let's continue. Number 20. Architect ecosystems that magnetize wealth. Architect ecosystems that magnetize wealth. This is not about chasing money. You're not chasing money. You are creating systems and ecosystems. What is an ecosystem? It is an environment of resources that make your systems more powerful. So if you have, for example, a certain business in a certain area, is going to work better because every environment has its own qualities. So you have to design everything, you have to architect ecosystems that magnetize wealth. That is the way that you have to think about wealth, about magnetizing things, not necessarily chasing things. Of course, you have to do inbound and outbound, both. But all of your systems, in the end, they have to magnetize the results that you want. Okay? 21. Amplify your impact with smart leverage. So, if you want to make it easy, when we are talking about leverage, it is about the network. Yes, we can think about providers, investors, employees, collaborators, clients. There are many different categories of people, but in short, you leverage by creating a very powerful, rich network. Build your network, but first, build your brand. You build your brand, then you build your network, and you're going to have success. Okie dokie, 22. Proximity accelerates power. Proximity accelerates power. So the more powerful people you have in your network, the faster you're gonna get what you want. So choose your circle strategically. Choose your circle strategically. Building a network is hard. Building a brand is hard. And having success is hard. So make no mistake about this. It is not easy to build a brand. It is not easy to build a network. It is not easy to build success. That is why very few people actually make it. And one of my favorite phrases is, joy in the grind is the secret to a wealthy mind. Joy in the grind is the secret to a wealthy mind. So if you are very unique and special, and you actually enjoy building your brand, if you actually enjoy building your network, you're going to get success way faster because you are enjoying the process, okay? This is why joy in the grind is the secret to a wealthy mind. A lot of people, they don't enjoy becoming a rare diamond. But if you enjoy the process, everything becomes easy. It is a mindset. It is something that you have to change in your own brain. You have to make the hard easy. If you make the hard easy, if you make the hard enjoyable, you're going to win much faster. So, why leaders always win? 1. Leaders give value freely. 2. Serve before you sell. 3. 99% pitch. 1% provide. 4. Build in public. Profit in private. 5. Brand is your real currency. 6. Working for Mr. Ego. Satisfy the ego of the people. 7. Sell transformation, not product. 8. Understand desire architecture. 9. Pressure forges diamonds. Seek the friction others avoid. 10. Rest or execute. No third option. 11. Deep focus is your competitive advantage. 12. Momentum compounds. 13. Live in flow state. Done beats perfect. 14. Engineer daily progress. 15. Winning is action. Action is winning. 16. Systems beat goals. 17. Inputs over outputs. 18. Attitude over performance. 19. Build assets that pay while you sleep. Number 20. Architect ecosystems that magnetize wealth. 21. Amplify your impact with smart leverage. 22. Proximity accelerates power. Choose your circle strategically. Joy in the grind is the secret to a wealthy mind. If you like this information, you can activate the sales speed mentorships, okay? The sales speed mentorships. And you have 3 levels. You have the Pro, Deluxe, and Diamond. Okay? So, if you want to activate sales speed, you can check the description of the video and you're gonna have access to the sales speed mentorships. Okay? And if you want, we can create your outbound sales system that works mostly through cold email and sometimes through LinkedIn. My name is Judas Phi Gates of Maestros Millonarios. I hope you have found value in this video. Hit like, subscribe, and pay attention to my next videos. Your friend Judas Phi Gates.